Welcome to the Best by the Worst. The best movies of all time, reviewed by the worst possible critics. If you don't believe us, keep listening to find out.
Oh, Jesus. Christ. Just blew everywhere. You saw that, right? I didn't do anything.
I did. I'm going to have to get something.
It's all over the mic.
I want to start.
You saw that, right?
I saw it.
Like, I didn't do anything. Now, what? Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Barrett podcast.
You son of a gun.
See? I may have been away for 22 weeks, but I haven't forgotten that.
Yeah? You have been away for a long time. Where have you been, Barrett?
I went to Europe.
Yeah. You betrayed the podcast, you abandoned your friend, and you went to Europe with your wife. How dare you?
Yeah. But everyone's going to be really confused because this is the third episode since I've been back. Because we pre-recorded some.
Oh, yeah.
And that was good because...
Yeah, how long was the gap in between? I think we did pretty well.
like 6 weeks, I think. 6 or 7 weeks. Had a few people
bad.
questioning me on when it was going to be back.
Well, you know, like all good seasons of shows, you know, they have to have a little break, and then sometimes they come back stronger. Sometimes they come back weaker.
Sometimes they don't come back at all.
Exactly. So we've come back. So we got renewed for another season, really.
Yes,
That's a good start.
Yeah.
I think our Rotten Tomato rating was 98%.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we can just maintain that.
All right. Now we're over the disaster of you shooting your beer everywhere.
It exploded.
We can have a bit of a chat about the beer. So I ran into the rep for Heroes and Villains at our local liquor store.
Yep.
And I said we'd give it a go on the podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And what beer is this?
Well, I was going to drink just one of the...
Little bug keeps fucking attacking me, sorry.
Attacked by a bug.
I was mentioning to Barrett before, like all these little like midgy bug things are out at the moment. Must have been from the weather changes, I don't know. But they're bloody everywhere, inside my house, your house, everywhere I go, these tiny little bugs.
Yeah.
Welcome to Australia. Everything's trying to kill you. There's bugs everywhere. Anyway.
So we were going to drink like one of their mainstream beers. I don't know if this is one of their core range or not.
Yeah.
This one's called Hard Party Triple IPA.
Cool can.
It is a very cool can.
Yeah, cool can.
It's a good beer. That's the question.
All right, let's find out. Welcome back.
Thank you. Ooh. That is good.
That actually is very nice. I can't believe that's 8.2%.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Hides it well.
That is very nice.
All right, Heroes and Villains, not a sponsor.
But could be.
Could be.
We're back.
We're back.
Okay, Barrett, before we get going into this movie, I have finally done it.
What have you done? I'm worried.
No, this is
You've
good.
had 6 weeks to do something.
And I finally did something. I've been promising it for probably 12 weeks. And in the 6-week break, I finally found 35 seconds to work out how the Academy Award ceremony process works, or the voting process for Best Picture winners. Because I've been promising it forever.
I think this is like episode 18.
Yeah. Well, better late than never. So, you know, now I can actually explain to everyone how it works.
This is a great surprise. I genuinely didn't think you were ever going to do this.
Well, you know, while I was caught up into a ball pining for you while you were gone, I thought, well, I'm going to impress him by actually looking up how this voting process works.
How's it work?
Okay, so it's pretty straightforward, actually. It's going to take me about 12 seconds. So, okay, it's a ranked choice voting method called the preferential ballot. That's how they do it. So, super straightforward. The Academy has a whole bunch of like members, basically. Some are called accountants, others are just members. Sometimes they're actors, sometimes it's just other people and critics. It's just people, right? And they make up the Academy, right? So the members of the Academy rank all the nominees. So the nominees for Best Pictures get picked, and then they get voted on by the members. The accountants for the Academy, who are also like part of the Academy, they go through and create a list of every film listed as the best, right? So like they get the list, people vote 1 to 10, let's say, but it's not obviously 10 nominees.
Yep.
And then the accountants will go through and check who's been picked as number one on each of these ballots.
But
right? Like one by one.
How do the movies get onto the ballots?
So they get nominated for Best Picture first. The Academy selects that.
Okay, the Academy selects
The nominees.
The nominees. They'll go
Yep.
out to the board. Well, not board.
No,
committee.
so yeah, actually, in fairness, I didn't go into deep on how the nominees get selected, but the voting method behind it is
This sounds like you've done half the research.
a little bit. No, I'm pretty certain. I just maybe forgot to write that bit down.
Barrett fact.
Yeah, so obviously there's maybe 5 or 6 Best Picture nominees,
Yes.
right? It's pretty obvious each year which movies are going to be nominated. But anyway, I think the Academy, they select those movies.
Okay.
The exact process I can't remember how they select those nominees.
Yep.
But then once we have those nominees, then this is the process. So the Academy members vote on a ballot, 1 to 6, let's say, if there's 6 nominees. Then the accountants go through each of those lists. Whichever movie's been picked as number 1, they jot a 1 basically. And then the first movie to get 50% of the votes wins.
Right.
Yeah. Well, once a movie gets 50% of the votes, it wins.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We now know the process.
And I promise in the next 12 weeks, I'll figure out how movies get nominated. We got halfway there.
All right. We need to get this thing going.
Yeah.
All right. So this week we watched The Lost Weekend, the 1945 winner of Best Picture.
Yep.
Movie had a budget of 1.25 million.
Yeah, it wasn't a big fancy movie. It would have been very cheap to make.
Yeah. I got back from holidays, completely forgot how to do this, and as a result of that, I forgot to inflate it for today's money. So
Yeah.
you don't get that this week. I'll
It
try.
wouldn't have been much. Like it's a drama movie.
I'm gonna go maybe 25 million.
Oh, no way that high.
I think that's what the
reckon-
inflation
I reckon
roughly.
15 mil.
Oh, maybe. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Because I'm lazy.
But the movie basically is a story of our boy Don.
Yeah, Don. I wrote a rough plot. Drunk, man is drunk.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So drama movie about Don who struggles with alcoholism.
Yeah.
It's basically really the movie in a nutshell. So this isn't going to be a very long podcast because not that the movie is poor quality. It's just that it's pretty straightforward in terms of the plot.
Yes.
But before we get into that,
Oh, all the actors are dead.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that adds up. What about that actor that was a kid in the movie, and then we saw like his current IMDb face, or at least before he died, and he had the world's biggest ears. They were huge.
Yeah. His ears took up 75% of the thumbnail.
It was insane. They were like Dumbo ears.
All right. I need to pick on the poor baby.
Well, not a baby anymore. In fact, he's dead. Anyway, so facts. 1945.
Yeah.
I've got like 50.
You
Any rules gone out the window?
Please stop knocking the table.
Yes.
I told you before we started recording not to hit the table.
Lots of facts. Look, obviously it's 1945. The war was winding down, but there were just so many facts I couldn't leave out. So it's going to be like a speed round, and I just rattle them off. I do have 2 though that more humorous and that I enjoyed more that aren't World War II related.
Okay.
But there's a lot that are World War II related.
Yeah, we're almost past the war.
I know. So I'm just going to rattle them off. Okay. Assault on Okinawa and Iwo Jima. So the Pacific kind of Japan battles are happening, the big ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hitler moves into his bunker because they're coming for him.
Yep.
FDR dies. President of the US at the time.
Oh, yes.
Franklin D. Roosevelt. Yeah. Yep. Red Army begins the attack on Berlin. Nazi surrenders.
Ooh.
The Red Army are coming, boy. Manhattan Project, nuclear bombing of Japan. Japan surrender. I just compressed a lot in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Try to keep
So
in some sort of
1945
chronological order, but it's all
1945
happening.
was when the bombs were dropped on Japan. Japan surrendered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they were basically done anyway. But
Yep.
yeah. Nuremberg trials begin. Of course, because it's like the end of the war. So this is a big year for the war.
Yeah.
Australia fact.
Yes.
Liberal Party of Australia, founded by Robert Menzies.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then Operation Paperclip also happens in this year.
paperclip.
Oh, yeah. I definitely was not going to not add this in.
I don't know what it is.
Let me tell you what it is, boy.
Takes a sip of his beer in preparation to start telling a fantastic piece of information.
I love this one because it's one of those conspiracy theories that was true.
We're not a conspiracy podcast.
I get that, and I've avoided talking about them at all costs.
Yes.
However, this is relevant,
Okay.
and it was a very important thing that happened in 1945.
Okay.
Operation Paperclip, to put it in a real small nutshell, basically the Soviets and the Americans divvied up the real fancy scientists, especially like the rocket scientists and all that, from the Germans, from the Nazis, instead of putting them in the Nuremberg trials and putting them in prison or killing them, they probably should have been. They split them up so they could advance their own science and rocket tech, and for the space race, right? That was going to start leading up into that. So they got the worst scientists, divvied them up. The Red Army took half, like the Russians, and the Americans took the other. And then they got to work in Russia and in the US, and then got to live a perfect life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think where have I seen bits of that?
Yeah, it's messed up.
Maybe I watched some documentary about the space race. Is there there's
Yeah.
a Tom Hanks
Yeah, would have been.
race something to the moon? I'm pretty sure there's some mention of them in that.
Yeah, so all these, the agreement was that Germans worked for them and they just got to live a little life in America.
Yeah. Right. And they were in the Oppenheimer movie as well. Wasn't it when in Oppenheimer when he goes to
This
see
is after.
this is after when he goes to the nuclear energy
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
and there's like some ex-German
Yeah.
scientists there. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's really messed up. Yeah.
Right.
Real bad people. Yeah.
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 Was a conspiracy until it was real.
Oh, well, you can have that one if it's proven real.
And the last two that aren't World War II related.
Oh, there's two more?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep. Trampoline patented. Trampoline.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very fond memories as a child, jumping on the old trampoline.
So that's patented. I think that's very important. And
Where's that from? Is that a US thing, Australian thing?
I was so excited by the word trampoline, I didn't look any deeper. And this is easily my favourite.
Okay. Is this the Australian fact?
No.
Oh.
The Australian fact was the Liberal Party.
Right.
Okay. Mike the Headless Chicken, decapitated in Colorado, survives another 18 months before choking to death.
Yeah. I've heard about this before.
Mike the Headless Chicken.
Yeah, didn't they feed him with like an eyedropper or something down his
Again, I didn't go into the full detail.
what remained of his throat?
Terrible, right?
It's horrible.
Love it. Okay. So that's my 600 facts.
Good facts.
I thought so.
And I'm excited for next week when the war facts are going to start tapering off.
Yeah, and I can get more trampolines and mics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe less headless chickens.
Hopefully.
All right. So this is not going to be a long podcast. We've waffled probably more at the start than we will about this movie.
It's a speed round.
I've got the plot loosely written down. I had to rewatch some of the movie today.
Why is that, boy?
I had a few too many beers last night, and yeah, I forgot some of what happened, and I kind of it got very hard to keep a track of what was going on because although I'm not saying the movie's not fantastic, it's just written in a very different way to anything we've watched so far. Like
We did talk about that actually just before we started this, and there's one thing that I could definitely call out for this movie is every movie up until now has been a little campy, like a little bit old movie style, where it's a little bit exaggerated and, just that old movie vibe. But this is one of the first, I feel like this didn't really have that at all. It was really just a straight point blank drama. There was none of that overacting really. It was just like a modern kind of drama film that I'd expect to see today in terms of the style. You know?
Not a lot happens, but I wouldn't say it's overly boring.
Yeah, and you can have lots of movies in today that would be follow a similar plot or theme.
Yes.
And very similar in nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like just, maybe now movies are kind of turning into the movies that we know,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the movie opens with some shots of a city. We pan across to an open window and there's a bottle of alcohol hanging out the window on the end of a piece of string.
Mm-hmm.
Don, our main character, the alcoholic, is going to a farm for a weekend. He says that he's been sober for 10 days. It is quite clearly lies because as soon as his mate that's taking him to the farm leaves the room.
Well, that's his brother.
or his brother pulls on the rope, pulls the bottle back in the window, tries to drink it. His brother catches him.
Yeah. So his brother and his girlfriend, they're the other real, I guess, main characters in the movie, especially her.
Yeah.
The brother a bit too. And clearly they're just trying to help him out, right? This has been going on already for a long period of time. That doesn't specify how long, but for a while. And, they're really trying to give him some tough love. And he's, clearly not going along.
Yeah, I didn't write down the brother's name, but the girl that comes in, her name's Helen. Did you say that?
Yeah, it was Helen.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the brother's name either.
Yeah, so we got Don and Helen. They're probably the couple. They're like the main characters, and then the brothers constantly trying to correct and help.
I didn't like her eyebrows.
Okay.
I remember that part.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep telling some of the plot.
Yeah, go.
Feel free to jump in, and maybe we'll try and drop some facts in along the way. So Don's in his apartment. He can't find any alcohol. There's a cleaner or something that comes that needs to be paid, and he says, "Oh, sorry, my brother didn't leave the money behind." But really, he's got the money.
Yeah, he left it in the drawer for the cleaner.
Yeah.
And old Don saw this as a golden opportunity to take the money instead of giving it to the cleaner.
Yes.
So he could go buy some booze.
Yeah.
Rye whiskey was his weapon of choice.
Yeah. And then he walks into the bar. He gets told, "No more lines of credit in here, mate."
Yeah. Well, because his brother he'd been saying, "Oh, my brother will pay the bill."
Yeah.
And the brother went into all the liquor stores and said, "I'm not covering any credit on my brother anymore. Stop giving him free alcohol."
Yes. Yeah. So he goes, "No, I've got money," and holds up the stolen money. There's a great shot at this point. The camera starts behind the shelf. I don't know if you noticed this.
Yeah.
But the camera sort of zooms in, so you imagine you see a wall filled with bottles of alcohol, and then it zooms through the bottles, and then it reveals Don standing at the bar. So we're seeing a really different, I guess, level of cinematography at this point. Like it's starting to it's heading towards what I would call a modern film, the way it's shot.
I guess. I don't know. We've had some pretty surprising movies with some pretty good cinematography. I actually thought this was a pretty straightforward movie in all respects in terms of how it was filmed. But anyway,
it's all right. We can have a fight about it.
Great. We'll film that too.
But yeah, he buys 2 bottles of alcohol.
Rye whiskey, 2 bottles.
2 bottles.
The cheapest whiskey that's there. He made that very clear.
And the 2 bottles will come back later because that's important.
Yeah.
And then he walks along the side of the street, buys some apples.
Yeah, he puts them in the bag on top, so it looks like it's just got groceries in case it runs into the brother and partner.
Yeah. And then I'm a little bit confused. Then he goes to another bar and starts drinking.
Yeah.
Because
he's got like a bar that's pretty much at the next to his apartment building, right?
Yeah.
And he clearly is a regular there. And he goes in there and he just, he's still got some money left over. This $10 goes a long way. This $10 has bought himself 2 bottles of whiskey, and he's got enough for a few apples, and those apples were 49 cents each. I took note of that. Each or kilo? Anyway, a few apples. And then went into there and just started buying shots.
Yeah. So he's buying his shots. It's a little bit, I don't know, it's not really important what happens next, but he's I think we fast forward a couple of days because he's then telling a story in the bar. I don't think it's the same scene because the barman says something along the lines of, "You can't have drank all that alcohol in already. You came in here yesterday with 2 bottles."
Yeah.
And he's going, "I did have 2 bottles, didn't I?" Because he's obviously drunk at the bar, gone home, drunk one of the bottles. We're now back in the bar the next day. He's telling a story because the story pans into how he met Helen.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole, definitely going back a fair way, because we actually found out later that they were together for 3 years. Yeah. So, she's been dealing with this for a while too, but clearly didn't understand the level of alcoholism. But when he went back with those 2 bottles, though, we do see where he's placed the other bottle, right? Because he was drinking on the chair with that 1 bottle that he clearly finishes off.
Yeah.
The other bottle he puts in the light.
Yes.
Right? So he hides in the light, and
so his brother can't find it.
So no one can find it because he's got so many hiding places, and he runs around the apartment, all these different places he uses, and that seems to be a new one, and it's a real pain in the ass. It's a real high ceiling, and he's got a chair on top of a desk. He's standing on all of that to hide this bottle and thinking he's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He pulls it off, and that's where he's hiding the bottle.
Yeah. So he hides his bottle up there. He's telling the story about how he met Helen to the bar. the bar manager, or I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever you call them.
bartender.
Bartender. My brain is not working today.
Yeah, you kind of heard it last night, didn't you?
So we see that he's at the opera. Right? He's sitting at the opera. He's watching a show, and all that he can focus on for the entire opera show is the people carrying the alcohol around on the stage,
Yeah.
because they're drinking while they're performing.
He's just licking his lips.
And he's just licking his lips, and he goes, I need to get out of here. Goes out, tries to get his jacket, which has a bottle of alcohol in the pocket.
Yeah.
And then when he hands his ticket over to the cloakroom, gets back a leopard print woman's jacket.
Real animal skin. Not okay anymore.
You don't know that, bud.
Yeah, there was a bit in there where she comments on it being real animal skin.
Right. I missed that as well. So he gets the jacket. The guy managing the cloakroom, he's like, this is not my jacket. I need my jacket. It's got something really important in the pocket. It's just a bottle of alcohol.
Yeah.
But the cloakroom manager's like, I can't do anything. Like, that's the ticket that's attached to your jacket. And he's like, let me go look for it. And he's like, no, like, there's hundreds of jackets in here. Not
They're all the same, yeah.
rummaging through. You'll have to wait until the show finishes.
Yeah.
And then see who's left holding your jacket and then swap.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been a bit.
I wasn't happy about that.
Yeah. And then the cloakroom manager just goes back to reading his newspaper and just ignores him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's having none of it.
So we see the show's finished. Everyone comes out. Everyone gets their jackets. The crowd's starting to clear. And then there's a girl left holding a man's jacket and a man's hat. Right? They have a bit of an interesting interaction. Do you remember what happens?
Yeah, he was a bit of a dick.
He was a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he kind of just... what was the first bit? I think he grabbed his jacket,
They swap jackets. Yep.
swapped, and then he's rambling about something because he's pissed off he had to wait.
Yep.
And then he asked for his hat.
Yep. Asks for his hat. And then goes to walk off because he's got his jacket and his hat and he's still holding her umbrella.
Ah, the umbrella. That's right. Yeah, and he just turns around, just throws the fucking umbrella at her and lands by her feet.
Yeah.
Well, that was very rude.
But instantly realizes what he's done, bends over, picks up the umbrella and hands it to her nicely.
Puts the jacket on her, and then they get to talking, and then they're waiting outside, and they're clearly like hitting it off and flirting a bit. And she invites him to a party that she's going to downtown.
Yes.
And even though he's interested in her and like he's trying to make things happen, his desire just to go back home and drink that whiskey that's been in his jacket pocket this whole time is greater even than her. And,
Yes.
I thought that clearly highlights how much of an alcoholic he is. He'd rather do that than go hang out with this girl, right?
Yep.
And then she starts walking off to get a cab, and then he's trying to put his jacket on and stuffs up and the bottle falls out and smashes on the ground.
Yeah.
And then she comes over like, oh, did someone throw that at you? And he goes, oh, no, it was in my jacket. That's where I'm going off to my brother. We were celebrating something, and that's why I had the bottle. Like, really just downplays it, and she's none the wiser and, doesn't realize he had it in there because he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And then he realizes now he's got no money and he doesn't have the alcohol anymore. Says, oh, where did you say this party was? What kind of party was it? Oh, it's a cocktail party.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can go now.
Oh, Miss St. James,
Yes,
what kind of a party was that you asked me to?
a cocktail party.
Invitation still stand?
Of course, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can come to the cocktail party now.
Goes with her just because there's alcohol.
Yeah.
But then obviously sparked a relationship and they've been together ever since.
Yeah. I want to pause before we continue on because there's a couple of points that I wanted to throw in there. And I guess we're really starting to paint about this movie and its portrayal of someone who's an alcoholic. And I want to talk about that a little bit more because the liquor industry actually banded together and joined forces, and they basically wanted to have this movie cancelled before it was released.
They did. I saw that too.
Yeah.
And I was reading that the liquor industry offered $5 million for them not to release the film.
Yeah, because they were that worried about what it was going to do to the liquor industry, and it could potentially reintroduce prohibition.
Yeah. Wow.
Wild times. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. So we cut back to the bar because all of what we just said was Don telling a story to the bartender. Cut back, has another swig, and then continues to tell the story. And he's telling the story about the fact that he has to, like, he's been seeing this girl for a while now, and he's going to meet her parents.
Yep.
Right. He's got to be there at like 1 o'clock at a certain place, and he's there. He's there on time. He's sober, soberish, I presume.
Yeah.
Sitting there, he's got a gift. Overhears her parents talking. She's not there yet. Gets freaked out.
Bails.
Goes back to his apartment, and what does he do?
Yeah. Evac Jitsu. And then he just goes back to his and starts drinking again.
Yeah. Obviously, he misses the meeting of Helen's parents, so Helen goes looking for him. All right, and
the brother went first, remember?
yeah, the brother went first. Yes,
The brother finds him there. Brother knows all his games and tricks, so again, they're all just trying to help him, and the brother's really trying to help him at this point, realizing he's bailed on her on the parents. It's not good. And, Don's feeling really bad about it, but he's all hungover and probably still drunk, and the brother's trying to help out. So I'll call them and clear this up and rah. And then she knocks on the door. Helen knocks on the door. So the brother, good brother that he is, tries to get Don to hide in the room. He's hiding all like the bottles and alcohol that's everywhere, and he hides an empty bottle underneath the bed that Don was lying under, try and clear the scene, and then lets her in. Says, "Oh, look, he's not here. And she's sitting on the bed talking to the brother, and then the bottle rolls out from under the bed.
Yeah.
And the brother tries to like sneakily kick it back under, but he's unsuccessful. She sees it and kind of works out what's going on, and then Don comes out of the room and he kind of spills his guts.
Yeah, and tells her everything. Admits that he's an alcoholic. Tells her that there's two Dons. There's sober Don, who has a dream to become a writer,
and Don not Don,
and drunk Don, who just wants to drink.
Yeah, because he's really got no money. He's a bit of a deadbeat, but his passion is writing, and he wants to be a writer, but he also is an alcoholic. So those two things don't really seem to go hand in hand all the time.
Yeah. And then he finishes telling the story to the bartender, and then do you remember what he says to the bartender?
About his kidneys?
Oh no, I don't remember that. What does he say about his kidneys?
Pickle my kidneys. Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. But he tells the bartender, "I've had enough of being drunk. I'm gonna go write a story." Right? Goes to his apartment, starts trying to write the story. Can't get out of his mind that there's the missing bottle of alcohol. Because remember earlier we said he bought 2 bottles, and he's misplaced one. You've alluded, or you told us that he hid it on top of the light. So he's turning this apartment upside down.
He's shredding it.
He's looking everywhere for this bottle. Can't find it. But do you remember what he does find? I only remember this because I rewatched bits of it this afternoon. He finds a matchstick book.
Oh, that's right, for the bar.
That has like a little advertising bit on it for a bar/club.
Some fancy place.
Goes there and starts drinking on a tab.
And he doesn't have any money.
Doesn't have any money.
I think he had like a little bit, but he probably didn't realize how much he was drinking or how expensive the place was. So when he asks for the bill, he looks at it and thinking, "Shit, I don't have this money." And then he looks over to his left, and there's like a fancy lady with a purse that's next to him, and she's with her partner, and he steals the purse and then runs to the bathroom to get the money.
Yeah.
And the drunk buffoon, after he comes out, everyone's like waiting for him.
What
like,
happens in the bathroom?
Oh, there's a African American gentleman.
We did say we'd talk about all racism.
Yeah, I mean, he treated him good and all that, but he was in the toilet cleaning shoes and pants and
Moving right along. Sorry.
Anyway, so he comes out and they're all waiting for him, thinking, "It was you. Did you rob my missus?" And he's straight up. He just pulls out the purse. "Oh yeah, it was me."
You took this lady's bag, didn't you? All right, let's have it.
Of course.
Somebody call a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they roughhouse him and they kick him out of the club.
They start playing a song that he stole a purse.
Yeah. He's just a drunk idiot, right? Like, he's just got no shame. So he gets kicked out, and then he's on the street. You can tell he's feeling down on himself. But I can't remember what happened after that.
Or he goes back to the apartment, and the apartment's still trashed from him looking for the bottle. And
then he finds the bottle, right?
I looked at my phone at this bit. I'm not going to lie. But I'm pretty sure he lies down in the room, just completely done, looks up and sees the bottle on the line.
He sees the shadow of the light.
Yeah.
And he's so happy.
Yeah.
He's so happy. He gets up, gets the bottle, wipes himself out.
Yes.
And then where does he wake up, Barrett?
He wakes up in his apartment and there's a scene where he picks up one bottle, tips it into his glass, picks up another bottle, tips it in the glass. He gets maybe 10 mil out of the 2 bottles. Like there's nothing. He's on dregs. And we did allude before that he wanted to be a writer. And to be a writer in that era, you had to have a typewriter.
Yep.
So what's he decide his next move's going to be?
Sell the typewriter.
I'm going to go pawn my typewriter.
Yeah.
And
He needs money for alcohol.
To buy alcohol. Goes on an adventure. And this is another scene that I found quite well shot because it actually feels painful to watch. You can feel his pain. It's some sort of...
Oh, it's one of the Jewish holidays.
It's a Jewish holiday or something like that. So every pawn shop is closed.
Yeah, everything's closed.
So
of course, all the pawn shops have to be run by Jewish people, right?
Yeah. So he couldn't do much with that. I did have another point I wanted to drop in here. This movie was produced by a guy named something Wilder. I forgot his first name. I thought he did a fantastic job of this, so I went looking to see if he produced or directed any other movies, and we've got another movie coming up,
Oh,
The Apartment.
well,
In 1960, he co-wrote,
There you go.
directed, and produced. Yeah. So that's going to be a pretty interesting times ahead.
nice.
This movie has great reviews as well.
Yeah, it was highly rated,
I
wasn't
just
it?
wanted to because I looked around for some facts, and there was some real spicy ones like the liquor industry stuff. But I was like, I wonder how it reviewed. And there's a lot of reviews on Google. Modern reviews, like 5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah, saying that it holds up.
People saying that it holds up
And
really
and
well.
it does hold up in terms of, its messaging and what it's about, like, just about alcoholism, which is very relevant even today. Like, it didn't have anything in the movie that was restricted to its time, right?
Yeah.
So much of what we watched is, it's about World War II or this or that, and it's very, time specific.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you could copy and paste that plot to today and make a movie and remake, and it would be fine.
Yes,
it would
yeah.
carry, it would track.
Yeah, just modern up a few things. And
Everything was relevant. So
Yes.
it holds up for that reason, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking of some other, big time movies that have a similar plot. And our boy Nick Cage is one that comes to mind. Leaving Las Vegas.
Okay.
He won Best Actor for that. His only Best Actor award, and he played an alcoholic. And it's like, this movie reminds me of that, just like a hopeless alcoholic, right?
Yep.
And funnily enough, this guy, Don, can't remember what was his real name? I swear I wrote it down.
Well, I didn't write it down.
I can't remember. But the actor, he won Best Actor too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently if you play an alcoholic, you're going to win an award. But when he won the award, his real name's Ray. There you go. I can't remember his
Ray,
last name. But when he won Best Actor award at the ceremony, he didn't even do a speech. He just went up on there, picked up his trophy and left. Thanked the crowd and left. Yeah. No idea why.
I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Just mic dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than talking about shit about someone's wife and getting hit on stage.
Oh, wow.
Right. I'm going to continue with the story.
Yeah.
All right,
Take us home, Barrett.
He is in agony, and I guess that was what led us on that tangent just then. The portrayal of this scene, he looks like he's hurting. Like, it was painful to watch this
Yeah,
scene.
he's really in like the deep ends of the alcoholism now.
Yeah, he's got his typewriter with him. He goes into his favorite bar,
Yeah.
and he goes, "I just need a drink. I just need a drink."
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "No, I'm not giving you credit." And he goes, "I'm not asking for credit. I'm asking for charity.
Yeah.
I don't want a loan. I want you just to give me a drink." And the bartender kind of looks at him for a while and goes, "I'll give you one drink." Right, pours him a drink. Immediately downs that and then starts begging for another one. Right, not getting anywhere. He then goes, and I didn't recognize this girl. I think she was only think she was in this one scene.
No, she was in an earlier scene too.
Oh, okay, I missed
Yeah,
that.
she was close at the start of the movie when he first went into the bar. It's pretty inconsequential, so we'll just go through it quickly. So she was clearly just this other random girl
like
who's
an ex-girlfriend or something.
no, it's just something that was attracted to Don, and
Yeah.
Don was kind of leading her along a little because he had a girlfriend, which was really pretty and all the rest of it. But clearly his focus was on the alcohol anyway.
Yeah.
So they talked a little bit, and she kept trying to like get Don's attention, like get him to take her out.
Yep.
And he always said he would, and never really does. And it pisses off the bartender a little bit. But anyway, like it doesn't really go anywhere. But he does try at this point to shake it down for some cash.
Yes.
And does get some cash out of her.
Yeah, $10 or something.
Yeah, I think it was $5.
$5,
Get some money out of her to continue his quest. All
Yes. Yeah, he wants to keep drinking.
right? Yeah.
Gets the money from her, turns around, goes to walk down the stairs, at the front of her apartment, and does not.
Falls down, he eats himself to oblivion.
Yeah. Wakes up in hospital.
Yeah, not a nice hospital though. He
No.
wakes up essentially in like an old-timey drunk hospital.
Yes, the alcohol ward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did actually want to drop a little fact in here about the alcohol ward.
Yeah.
It was filmed in a hospital called the Bellevue Hospital. It was actually the alcohol ward.
Yeah, right.
And it was one of the only movies that was allowed to be filmed in there because I guess the way it was shot, it wasn't promoting alcoholism. It was painting like the real image of what it's like. So they let them film in there, and many others would be blocked in the future from being allowed to film in there.
Yeah, it was a pretty messed up, part of the movie. So really obviously highlighted, the prevalence of alcoholism even at that time.
Yeah.
There's so many people there, and the way they're talking about it, it's like, Don, we know all your games and tricks, and Don's really trying to get out, and he's trying to do all these tricks and games, and they're like, mate, we've seen far better than you. We're not going to be fooled by tricks and games. You are an alcoholic, and you're going to be here until you're not an alcoholic anymore, basically.
Yeah.
And then so he's kind of been stuck there. He's trying to get clean, basically. And then late at night, he's in bed, and they've got they're all staying in wards. There's 10 of them, and very close together. And one guy who's like a insane level alcoholic, he's having all these night terrors about beetles and cockroaches crawling all over him.
Yeah.
So he's having one of these night terrors, and the doctor and a few of the bloody not security guards, but the people that work in the hospital.
Nurses?
I guess, yeah. The
staff.
Yeah, the staff, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're running in trying to control this dude because he's having a spasm. And then this is where Don takes his opportunity because he's a slippery gypsy when he needs to be. And he takes the doctor's jacket and he slinks away through the elevator or stairs, wherever it was, and leaves the hospital. He gets out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Remember what he does right after he gets out?
Tries to get more alcohol.
Yeah. Robs a liquor store.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, he went into the store, the one that, he's been to a billion times, and the guy behind the counter, the owner, he's just literally opened the door,
Yes.
unlocked it.
Hasn't even got his jacket.
Don comes in and says, just yells at him while his back's turned, give me a bottle of rye whiskey. And the guy turns around and goes, can I at least take my jacket off first? And Don's like, no. And so the dude's like, oh, okay, here you go. It's X amount. And Don's got no money. He's like, I'm getting this bottle. I'm leaving here with this bottle one way or another.
Be 215.
Come on, I need that liquor. I want it and I'm gonna get it, understand? I'm gonna walk out of here with that quarter rye. One way or another.
And it just pans to just a deadpan shot of his face zoomed in.
Yeah.
And you can tell how serious he is.
Yes.
and it's good. He won Best Actor for this movie, I think, for a reason. He was actually really good in this movie. I
Yes,
thought.
yeah. Yep.
And the owner was like, oh, yeah, this guy means business. He really wants this alcohol.
Yeah.
And he just walks away with it.
Yeah. Goes back to his apartment and gets drunk.
Yeah.
The next scene we see after that, it's a little bit of a confusing scene, but I've got here, bat kills rat.
Yeah, this is a cool scene. So they talked a little bit, I guess, when we were talking about the guy that was having beetles and things crawl over him, at least in his brain. The people that work there were saying that, in the more serious levels of alcoholism and some of the patients that they had, they would start to hallucinate and things like that. So anyway, it was kind of highlighting that Don's reached that point. So he gets blackout drunk, in his apartment, and then he sees this mouse chew through a hole in his wall, and the mouse is there, and he's just staring at it. He's all drunk and just tripping, and this bat somehow gets in his apartment and is flying around, and then mauls this mouse that's in the wall, and then blood starts pouring down the wall. It's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
And then Don just has an absolute freak out,
He's
meltdown.
He's lost his mind at this point.
And then people that are in the building, they hear him screaming, and they call his missus, Helen, and she comes around.
Yes.
And they unlock the door. They let her in. She sees, the state is in. It is a complete mess. He was trying to, crawl to the door to lock it so that they couldn't come in, so she couldn't see, what is turned into basically. But he doesn't get to.
Yep.
And she comes in there and just sees it's a mess.
Yeah. We don't really see too much after that. It's kind of the next morning. She's asleep in like a single bed in like the living room.
Yep.
He's obviously been asleep in his room. Comes out and picks up her fur coat.
Yep. Just picks it up and walks straight out the door.
Walks straight out the door.
And he knows that she's awake. She's yelling at him like, "Where the hell are you going?"
Yeah.
Just doesn't even, like she's not even there.
Yeah.
Just beelines it straight to the pawn shop.
Yeah, and we think he's pawning it for money to buy alcohol.
No.
Incorrect.
She goes in there like, "Oh, hey, like I want to buy my jacket back because I know what he's just done." And is like, "Oh, he didn't trade it for cash. He traded it for something else he gave him ages ago." And she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "Oh, a gun."
And
So
then
we're thinking, "Oh, okay, Don's going to blow his brains out."
we cut back to a scene, and there he is. It's a suicide scene.
Yep, he's in the bathroom. He's like staring at himself in the mirror, staring at the gun. And it's like, oh, this is the way out, right? That's what he's thinking. So she kind of like bursts back into the building because she's really had enough of his shit as well. Like just before that with the jacket, she's not with him anymore because she wants to be with him romantically. She's just trying to save him now, really, from himself. Yep. So, but she runs back in the house when she hears about the gun. And she knows what he's doing, and he's just trying to get her out, and she's trying to find any reason to stay in the apartment to distract him so that he doesn't kill himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last scenes, he's got another drink in his hand. Every time he puts a smoke in his mouth, he's so drunk he puts it in backwards, and Helen always, without question, grabs his cigarette, turns it around, and puts it back in his mouth the right way.
But just at that time, so there's a knock at the door.
Yep.
And I can't remember what that guy was. I think it was in the bar or something with him.
Yeah.
Anyway, found his typewriter.
Yes.
Oiled it up, gave it back to him.
Yeah.
And that really picked him up. And then, Helen used as an opportunity to kind of say to him, "Hey, like, it's not too late. You can be a writer." And then he's getting like really motivated to write.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And kind of ends more on a happy note.
Yeah. His cigarette falls out of his mouth, lands in his cup of alcohol, and he looks at it and goes, "I'm not drinking that now."
Yep.
Puts it down and leaves us on a slither of hope.
Yep. Some optimism.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I will add in there. This is a weird, well, not a weird fact. I shouldn't say that, but I understand why they changed it because of the time. But it apparently, and I can't confirm this because I read off Wikipedia, and this could very well be made up a Barrett fact because I didn't go read the original story. But it's obviously based on a story that's been written.
Oh, okay. Like a book.
I don't know whether it was a book or a play or a script or whatever it was, but he was actually written with heavy homosexual overtones, and they did not want that in the film, so they changed it.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't in there.
Made him straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that it would have changed the story at all.
Well, it sounded like the movie had enough controversy. It probably needed even more at the time, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't think it would have. Wouldn't have had too much impact on the movie if it had been.
No, it wouldn't have changed anything.
No, it would have been the exact
No,
same.
he was an alcoholic because he was an alcoholic.
Yes.
Not because people were mean to him for being gay.
Yes. But I did think that was an interesting fact.
Yeah.
All right, that is the movie.
That is the movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, it was pretty straightforward. Look, it was just a real, close look at alcoholism in, this one person's case. But, highlights a very real issue. I mean, yeah, look, I've known people that have been that addicted to alcohol, so it does. It's a very real thing.
Yeah.
We're very, well adjusted. We only drink heavily when the occasion calls for it, not every day.
Not every day. Do you think this is a good episode to try and get heroes and villains to sponsor us when we've just talked about alcoholism for the entire...
That's why I'm trying to, let the audience know that we have a good control on our alcohol consumption.
We do, yeah. We enjoy it, yeah.
Exactly.
We don't need a beer.
How many beers did you have last night?
I don't know. We'll go with 4.
100? Yeah.
Teen?
The only other fact that I had was, yes, the movie was nominated for 7 awards, won 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously Best Picture, Best Actor,
Yep.
Best Adapted Screenplay, and I think one was for editing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
But yeah, look, I think overall, I think it was a decent movie.
Yeah.
Like it was a good movie. It was, a drama, more like it was slower paced, more serious movie. I did like how it felt more like a modern day movie.
Yeah.
And that campiness was kind of cut out of it. It was good acting. Like, yeah, it was a good story. Honestly, like I feel like could be preference. I was expecting and maybe hoping for a sadder ending. Like I felt like if he had blown his brains out, that might have hit home better, like in terms of the problem and scale of the issue.
Yes.
The leaving it on like a sense of hope and optimism, I just don't think it's realistic. Like I think if he had blown his brains out, that probably would have been a much more accurate representation of where he's at.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the missing ingredient for me.
Yeah.
But I think it was a decent movie.
It was a very decent movie.
Thoughts?
Wow.
Any closing comments?
No closing comments. We'll get into rating this thing.
All right, Barrett. It's been a while. But how many Barretts out of Barrett do you give this
I
movie?
don't particularly know. I'm somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4.
Okay, well, you got to make a call. I'm just going to do my thing where I mark it over here.
4 is getting very close to 5. It's getting a 4. It's a genuine good movie.
Good.
Yeah. I would almost tell people to watch this.
It was all right, but I think if I was trying to tell someone a movie about alcoholism and its impact, I would pick Leaving Las Vegas. Nick Cage.
It's got Nick Cage in it. It's
Exactly.
automatic 5. Any movie is in it's automatic
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. Yeah.
But it was a good movie. I gave it a 3.
Very good.
Yeah.
A little bit higher on the ratings here.
Yeah.
Maybe I got a little bit excited with my stars.
I think you've just been gone for too long.
Gone for too long, lost touch. All right.
Lost touch with the common man.
Oh, no, that's not our podcast. That's someone else's catchphrase. We have had on this podcast about alcohol, heroes and villains, and we had a
Yeah, maybe we should have picked water for this podcast. Just to like,
yeah, maybe we should have.
oh well.
You know what? I'll buy more of their beers for the next podcast so they can get a review on.
It was a very nice beer though.
It was really good.
It was
I
a
would
very nice
say
beer.
it was a nice mix of hops and a smooth finish.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a super bitter. It was just really nice beer.
And Barrett, it was very nice having you back.
We're back.
We're back.
We've only got, I don't know, like 60 something movies to go.
Yeah, but we're through World War
No,
II.
it's 80. That's bad maths.
Yeah, that's true. But hey, we're through World War
But
II.
we're through World War II.
That was a slog.
Yeah. Now we're just going to wait for Nam.
Oh yeah, no.
All right. On that note.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. See you next week.
Do 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 do.